What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Happy Batman Day to start things off with. What an amazing day it is, Batman Day. I love Batman, Batman is my GOAT. And that's what we're here to talk about. But more specifically, LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. They've actually released a brand new featurette early this morning, and I kind of went into a little bit of a deep dive mode and watched that a million times to just get all the details that I can to give you guys this beautiful jam-packed video. We're going to discuss everything that they revealed, some more story details, a brand new glimpse at some gameplay mechanics, and also discussing what the devs are trying to achieve with this game. There is a lot to cover, so today we're breaking all of that down from what we learned from that featurette. This is kind of shaping up to be one of the most ambitious LEGO games ever made, and maybe even the most definitive Batman game we've ever had. Now, I say that because of how and what they say during that featurette. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the story and the themes. So one of the biggest things this featurette highlights is the story. Unlike the earlier LEGO Batman games, which leaned heavily into parody, this game is trying to tell a sweeping, serious yet playful Batman story. We start off with Bruce Wayne as a young man, which we kind of got glimpses of in the first trailer, but they show us a little bit more in terms of his training with the League of Shadows. So yes, that means this game is diving into the complete origin up until Batman being a fully fleshed out vigilante, and then being the hero of Gotham. The developers have said that the idea is to follow Bruce's entire legacy as the Dark Knight, spanning across different eras. That's why the subtitle is Legacy of the Dark Knight. What makes this very exciting is how it draws inspiration from everywhere. To not, like, I can't quote the full thing because I didn't write it down, but they mentioned in that featurette that they've actually read every single, like, everything they can get their hands on. Like the comics, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Arkham games, even the animated shows. They've literally got every single sources of Batman that they could find and have made this game with all of that. So take that with what you will. That's why I'm saying this is going to be the most biggest and most ambitious, not even the most definitive Batman game we've ever had, because it's going to have literally every single reference, at least I hope, every single reference of Batman's journey. So instead of parodying the entire story like they did with the LEGO Batman games, Batman 1, 2, and just parodying one sort of source on it like the Justice League era, they want to combine all of Batman into one definitive story. That is wildly ambitious for a LEGO game, and this LEGO game is going to be the GTA 6 of LEGO games. That's how I'm seeing it right now. Next up, we're going to talk about Gotham. This isn't just a hub world like LEGO Batman 2 and LEGO Batman 3's horrendous. Look, I love LEGO Batman 3, but the map wasn't as good. But however, the devs call it the most immersive city yet. And that's thanks to the engine improvements they made for the Skywalker Saga. So the Skywalker Saga is honestly, I think, one of my favorite LEGO games I've ever played, other than the LEGO Batman 2 and LEGO Marvel Superheroes. I might actually make a video on my top 10 favorite LEGO games. I'll do that. But yeah, no, they discussed that the Skywalker Saga kind of set them up for success in a way with the mechanics of the world building and the way that Gotham is actually going to be laid out. Where they're talking about full traversal across Gotham, whether that's grappling, gliding, and even driving across districts that actually feel alive, which is kind of crazy because I touched on this when the game revealed, but it's the first time in, I think, ever that we've got a Gotham City with pedestrians and NPCs actually driving around, other than Gotham Knights, because Gotham Knights isn't a Batman game, it's a Gotham Knights game. We're talking about a Batman game with Batman as the main hero, with, obviously, he's got Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, and they've kind of talked about the Bat family in the game as well. But like having a solely Batman game with the ability to drive around in the Batmobile and have NPCs next to you, absolutely stacked. And they even tell you even in the footage we saw, like, Gotham skyline is lit with neon street lights, neon lights, packed with detail, landmarks that seem to reference different Batman eras. For example, you've got a building that looks straight out of Nolan's movies, but also stylized that echo the animated series has. It's almost like Gotham itself is a mashup tribute to Batman's entire history, which is another major reason as why I'm so excited about this game, is to actually see how, with all the media of Batman, how they combined all of that and make that one Gotham. Absolutely super stoked for that. They also talked about having the ability to, just similar to the Spider-Man games where you're, and similar to Gotham Knights, when you're just driving around or whatever, and there's a crime on the map, and you got to go and solve that crime, you got to beat those thugs down. I can't wait to do that. That's going to be amazing. Imagine you're Batman. Obviously it's a Lego game, so you can't really take it that seriously, but you're Batman, Legoized, on top of a roof, and you just hear like, help me, like the Lego Batman 2 dude, and then you just drop down, and there's a crime and you stop it. Absolutely amazing. They also dive into combat, and they actually did a huge spotlight of combat in the video. It's probably the biggest gameplay change as well. Traditional Lego games are fun, but in a real way, they've always been pretty much button smashy. But that's kind of changing here. The new system includes counters, combos, and integration of Batman's gadgets right into combat. Basically, what I'm trying to say is they've got the Arkham games and they've put it in a Lego game in terms of combat mechanics. They've got Arkham Knight, they've chucked that in Lego Batman, and they called it a day, which I'm super stoked about. It's clearly inspired by the Arkham games, but it's simplified enough to stay accessible. So I'm baffled about how good this game is going to be. And unironically, I'm kind of like, I'm mixed on hype between Wolverine, between this game, and between GTA 6. Now, I personally want to have all three of them in my possession, but I kind of want to have this more than I want to have the others. Obviously, when they release more GTA 6 content, I might change my mind, but that's besides the point. We're going to focus on the Lego Batman. Like, there was a shot where Batman countered multiple enemies in a fluid chain, something we've never seen in a Lego game before, but we've seen it in the Arkham games. And yes, enemies don't just wait their turn, they can actually swarm you, making timing more important. Like, instead of just having like the Lego Batman 2 goons just standing there waiting for you to throw the punch at them, they will all come at you like the Arkham thugs. This actually makes the game feel a little bit more satisfying and a little bit more cool in a way for a lot of hardcore gamers. Look, I'm super excited for it. I can't wait to dive into more when we see more of the combat and actually get my hands on the game. Vehicles and traversal. Traversal isn't just grappling and gliding as much as like they kind of advertise it to be. They're actually advertising the huge part of the game being the vehicles in terms of vehicles and traversal. We saw multiple Batmobiles, which seem to be pulled from different eras. And they actually showed the Batman Forever Batmobile, which was kind of amazing. And one thing that they actually kind of talked about in terms of making the game feel more alive, and it's something you see on the Batmobile and earlier on in the characters as well in terms of detail, is that the rain actually looks like it's real, which is kind of cool to see. Now, we've got a lot of different Batmobiles released over the time. We've seen the Nolan-inspired Tumbler in the game. We've seen the Batman Forever now, but there's also a lot of Batmobiles throughout media. So I'm kind of excited and stoked to see what other Batmobiles we'll be getting. Obviously, the silhouettes kind of got revealed in a way, so we kind of get the idea that the Batman vs Superman is going to release, the Batman vs Superman Batmobile, sorry, the Batman the Animated Series, the Arkham Knight. There's a whole list of them. But there's also, like, in a way, this could possibly hint at Batwing and Batcycle missions, since the developers said vehicles will play a major role in exploration and set pieces. Now, look, I've seen a lot of people talking about what about the Batwing or the Batboats. Look, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if they're going to be in this game. They haven't really talked about that as much. I kind of would love to have it, don't get me wrong. Flying through a massive Gotham would be pretty cool. But I would personally be happy with the Batcycle and the Batmobiles we get. In terms of co-op, they've revealed that the couch co-op is coming back. And it's including the split screen, which is going to be absolutely amazing. Which is honestly pretty cool. I used to love not having the ability to have split screen, and I still don't, so I'm happy about that. But for those that have siblings, you can now do the couch co-op with that split screen, which is pretty cool. They also kind of revealed that at the reveal, but you know, it's kind of cool to set it in stone that it's definitely going to be a thing. And they talked more about the difficulty modes, where they've also confirmed in the past LEGO games were pretty easy, but now we'll be able to tweak how challenging you want the combat and puzzles to be. And this is a first for LEGO games, and it shows that developers are actually targeting both casual players and Batman super fans who want a tougher experience, but also the like players who enjoy the Arkham games and stuff and kind of want a more intense experience. Pretty flippin' cool, if you ask me, chat. And visually, this game is gonna be stunning, and from what we saw, it already is. It's still very much a LEGO game, but the lighting and the textures are, and especially the Gotham, like the Gotham skyline and all that, it makes the feeling of the city like absolutely cinematic. It's like a combination of the LEGO game and a cinematic of a Batman game. They said that they want this to be the definitive Batman game, which is a very bold claim if you don't mind me putting my input there, but we can see why. They're pulling inspiration from literally everything. Arkham style combat, Nolan styled Gotham, classic LEGO humor, and comic book Easter eggs literally everywhere. They even have James Gunn, Jim Lee, and Jonathan Smith even spoke in that featurette, praising how the game celebrates Batman's mythos. When you have names like that backing it up, you know this game's going to be good. And James Gunn is literally like the head of DC at this point, right? He's made Superman, and he's always and at the moment, even now with his DC universe, he's trying to make the best possible Batman he can, which is why we don't have an announcement yet, which is kind of annoying me, but I really want to see what Batman we get. But you know, having him praise a LEGO Batman game is completely marbles for me. What we still don't know is the roster. The website and themselves officially mentioned that there's going to be 7 core playable characters, which sounds very small compared to the past LEGO games. But the developers are actually hinted strongly that free play feature will still have like way more fun, like in a way. I don't know what I'm saying here. Like they've hinted strongly that the free play mode will feature way more content in a way, which is exciting. So are we now balancing having multiple playable characters versus a more fleshed out open world? I'm kind of assuming that's what's happening, and I kind of don't mind, I'll be honest. Substituting 260 characters for a massive open world with 10 times more collectibles and fun, I would substitute that out personally. Now, it's not like the classic LEGO games, but they've mentioned it numerous times, and we now know that this is, number one, a definitive Batman game, but also, like, we know how much suits we're getting. I'm kind of happy with the direction they're going. In terms of release date, there's still no concrete date yet, just that it's coming pretty soon, and we have no official announcement of DLC plans either, but a game this ambitious is almost guaranteed to have post-launch content. My guess is we're going to get a couple extra suits, maybe a Bat Family DLC. A villains pack would be pretty cool if they want to incorporate them, but I have a video on that talking about my ideas, and I kind of made that earlier on when the game was announced. But look, in terms of release date, I still think it's going to come out early next year. I don't see them competing with GTA 6 or even releasing near GTA 6, and you know, releasing it later on in the year would be pretty neat too, but I'm pretty sure everyone will be playing GTA 6 for the next 10,000 years. So, but that's everything we know now, everything new we learned from the LEGO Batman Legacy featurette. We know that it's a full origin story, the most immersive Gotham yet, Arkham-inspired combat, tons of traversal options, co-op and art style that pulls from every Batman era. Honestly, this feels less like a typical LEGO game and more like a love letter to Batman. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What details are you most hyped about? Is there a combat overhaul here? Gotham's design? What do you guys think of that? Or maybe even the suits we're starting to see? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll be covering all updates as they come out, including a deep dive into every confirmed suit so that you'll make sure you're subscribed. But once again guys, happy Batman Day and peace out.